Kedai de kleine kinderlich sollen nicht anschlafen. It's easy to fall asleep. It's very easy to fall asleep. It's easy for the little child, for the curiosity to fall asleep within. And in the process of going in the process of Kaddish is always one level up. It's always removed from where you were previously. So in that process, we can fall asleep sometimes. Because when you're entering in a space, when you're elevating, you're going into a space that you don't have a language yet for. You don't have the oisias. So you may look speechless and languageless. And therefore, sometimes we can lose our way, which is Yirida L'Tzarech Aliyah. So we have to find the oisias, find the language. The language is through humility and so on and so forth. Tefillah, prayer, to ask for that Creator should guide us and lead us in the right direction. So and there's usually a resistance to that too, because there's a lack of humility. So that is Vayetza Yaakov. Yaakov is going out. So we've been working a lot on Shabbos. Shabbos is the inyan of Amunah, which is faith, believe. It's a very, very it's a very rich topic. It's a very broad. There's a lot to do in that section. There's a lot you can hang out there for a very long time. Tzaddik b'Manasseh Yichya, the tzaddik is Nachman is I'm talking about the Manasseh here. He's talking about Amunah. He's talking about where all the tefillahs go through the tzaddik, because the tzaddik has Amunah, and if you have Amunah in the tzaddik, that that almost like he transmits Amunah, because he goes into a level of he comes into to the world of Chomer, to the physical world, and that is, in other words, that's what shows up from the part of the tzaddik, because there's the Chomer there too. When he listens to when he's in Welt, he's being seen in the problem, through the problem, so he becomes a part of the problem. And then when we have Amunah, when we believe in the tzaddik, he elevates all the tefillahs, because then we trigger Amunah. Because tzaddik b'Manasseh Yichya, he lives in the level of Amunah. So this is Reb Nosson, he's going back and forth, and it's just a beautiful piece through pieces and how he's opening up this the whole thing, and how do we get to that place? Because we're so stuck and so stuck that how do we get to that place of that we can have Amunah in the tzaddik, have humility within ourselves, have that level of bittul? That is through Shabbos. Shabbos gives us the power, because Shabbos is Amunah. Shabbos is Amunah because Shabbos is Eish Lovin. We're going into the white fire. We're going into the candles that we're lighting. We're lighting Erev Shabbos. The Shechina is lighting. We're bringing in that fire. We're not allowed to do any type of avodah on Shabbos, any work, because that's called Eish Zara. So we're going into that place and that activates the Amunah, which means that we're injected and we receive the energy and the power to the koyach to be able to believe, to have humility, and to be able to believe in self, let's just say for now, and then through that there is the healing, and we're able to the tefillah on is kabul, so we're able to get into, because there's always tefillahs, we're always davening, always in prayer, but the question is, how far am I reaching with my prayer? How far am I going with my tefillah? How far back am I going within myself, so I can have ruach eser ruach? So, because whatever I project is what I see. So how do I get out of my way? How do I get out of that? Because if I'm davening to be better, but yet I'm stuck, how do I get better? Because whatever I see is whatever I project is what I see, and whatever I see is what I'm projecting. So how do I get out of it? If I can only see what I'm projecting, I can only project what I see. How do I get deeper within myself? And it could be a Gehenna, it could be a stuckness, and therefore we have to go into Shabbos is the key to that. Shabbos, how do we do the Shabbos? First of all, by humbling ourselves and by keeping Shabbos, going in on Shabbos on time. And the other thing is by eating. The food of Shabbos is gives us the power, because Shabbos everything gets elevated. right? So let's just say if the first child is born, the first creation is removed from the source. That's called creation. I'm creating something, I'm projecting something. So that's the first step away from me. That thing has a child, so that's my grandchild. Then another child, that's my great great grandchild. So on and so forth. We keep going and going and going. So we're so far removed. But if Shabbos, we're having elevation where everything clicks in one and one and one, which means that my great great grandchild is not my great grandchild, which becomes my grandchild, my son, and then back to me, and me back to my, all the way back to Adam Rishon, all the way back to source, and it's a beautiful, fascinating process. That's the same similar process that Rav Nachman talks about that we're going through in Rosh Hashanah. That's the process. It's like if you go through my Rosh Hashanah, and let's just say you don't have to be there, but I'm saying his Rosh Hashanah, the way he's explaining, the way he's processing Rosh Hashanah, we're going back to the source. We're going back to if I'm going back to I'm Nichlul in the source, if I'm going back to the source, that means that I'm in Amunah. Because Amunah is Ruach, it's the spirit. You have Chesed, you have Gevura. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. We have Chesed, you have Gevura, you have Malach Shel Eish and Malach Shel Mayim. You have the two angels. One is Gavriel, Michal, and Gavriel. One is fire, Gavriel fire. One is water. And you have these two very strong realities. I don't want to call them egos. Two realities. One is holding all the way. He's to the source, to the core. He is water, and he to the source, to the core is fire. So both of them are holding, and they could technically cancel out each other, but they keep holding. And from that place, they're holding. Why they're holding? Because they know there's something above them. There's a higher power above them, which is Amunah. They're going up above that they become a recover for that. And then comes in the Ruach. And that comes in the spirit of Creator is hovering above. It's almost like a vape. It builds. And that is Amunah. Amunah is the Yesh Me'ayin. You can't trace back Amunah to anything. I can trace everything back to something, but Amunah is the ultimate Yesh Me'ayin, where you have to stop, and it doesn't, it's almost like it's this. This is being projected from this, not by, there's nothing here, this is blank, and here there is something else that's being created, let's say. So it's being projected almost like it's the Eid Alam in Aretz, the vape comes out from the ground. And this is so Yaakov is on the way. He leaves Be'er Shava. Now that he has the brachas, he got the brachas last week. He goes out. He gets the Tal Min Hashemayim. He goes out, and technically speaking, there's many questions of that. If Yaakov got the brachas, if his mother told him to go get the brachas, why did he have to run away? His mother tells him the following a few psukim later. Is like, listen, my dear son, you have to run because Esau wants to kill you for the brachas that you stole. It's like, I stole nothing. You told me to go there. You told me to go get the brachas. He said that all the curses and all the whatever may come, I'm taking upon myself. So there's a question here, what's the problem here? And then his father tells him to go get married, and then he's punished that he loses Yosef for 22 years because he was away from his parents. And it's like, why is he being punished? I mean, there's no way, can we get away? I mean, there's no way around. If I didn't go, then I wouldn't be punished. If I go, I'm being punished. And then for the 14 years that he's by Aver, he's not punished because he's learning Torah. So there's a lot of questions around that. And the answer is that before he had the brachas, he was an ishtam, he was a nebuch, he was very fragile, and Esau was this big tough guy, and Yaakov is this fragile little ishtam, ish v'halim. He's an emes. He's the epitome of emes. He is the truth, and he's 64 years old. His father doesn't tell him to leave. He's not going anywhere. But once he got the brachas, his mother is like, now your journey has begun. Now you are a man. You got the brachas. Now you're going to go in. Yaakov Be'er Shava. He leaves Be'er Shava. He leaves his comfort. He leaves Eretz Yisrael. He leaves the Tal, and he goes into Lamates Malachas. He goes to Charan. He goes into Charanaf. He goes into the confusion of the world. He enters in the darkness of the world. He goes and lives by Lovin, which is the biggest magician, trickster, and trippy, freaky stuff at once. And he lives there, and he survives him, and he's using that as a way of elevation, and he processes and he goes in bitter after bitter until he's able to come out with it. He establishes the 12 tribes, 11, and then the 12th on the way while dealing with this guy. So the answer is that yeah. So at the end of the day, you were left. You were not home. You didn't. You were missing in certain obligations that you had to be there for your parents. And there is going to be, and there is a rectification to do. There is a lack of flow. There's a lack of energy. There's something. Yes, you can get a pass. You can sit on the side and you can get a pass. But if you want to activate the brachas are not meant to sit home with them. The brachas are not meant to be in your safety. It's not meant to go into seclusion. Your brachas are meant to go. Now that you have the brachas, go out there and go bring it to the world. Go bring the light. The world is your own world. Whatever daladamas that you're, whatever you are, that's what you need to bring it to. So, we're learning stuff. We're learning. We're understanding. We have a little more knowledge than we had yesterday and the day before and last year. And now is the time to take the towel and go into Lamates. And Lamates is malachas. It's hard work. It's a lot of no's. It's a lot of resistance. But you have the brachas. You have the light. You know how to maneuver. You know how to go get through it. You know how to deal with it in your relationships. And if not, you haven't learned anything. You're basically, it's Eish Zara. It's not. You're not doing what you need to be doing. You're not doing what you need to be doing. So. And that is what Yaakov is doing. Yaakov is Avnei Amakam v'Yosem Rashosef, one stone at a time. He takes one step at a time. Yaakov is Tiferes. Tiferes is the balance. And when you're going in the Bri Chaticha means that he is the bridge between the two. So you have one side, you have Chesed, which is the water, and the other side you have the fire. You have Gevura, which is the fire. You have Avraham and Yitzchak. Both of them are very rigid. A very, very intense work, and both of them are dealing. Avram is dealing with Ishmael. He has Yitzchak, but he's dealing with Ishmael, and Yitzchak itself was intense. I mean, the carbon oil, and Yitzchak is dealing with Yaakov, and he's also dealing with Esav. Right? It's once again they're very two extremes. How do I survive in this? But it's not you have to be Avram and Yitzchak to be able to deal with Ishmael and Esav. Yaakov is Bri Chaticha. Yaakov has 12 tribes, Mitasa Shalema. He's got the whole thing nailed because he is the center line. He brings Tiferes. And when he's doing Tiferes, when you're in balance, you're opening up your das. And when you're opening up your das, you're opening up to the crown. You're opening up to the Keser. And that's what he's able to deal with. Lavan is Lavan Elion, which is the Keser. It's up there. He's dealing with him. And he's able to bring you into Yesod, which is make a conclusion of all that and bring it into Malchus, bring it into planet. From there, he goes out from Lavan and he goes to Eretz Yisrael, and from there, once again, he goes to Mitzrayim to start the journey, our journey for us to start our journey. So that's the work. Is one step at a time, internalizing it. And when I bring internalization to that, and I bring balance, which means that I'm balancing what I know, and I'm bringing awareness to what I know. I understand where I'm at. I understand where I am. You're opening up. I did this already a couple of weeks ago, and I don't think that I explained what it was. It's like when you have the clamp. When you put a clamp. You open it, you squeeze it, and it clamps down. Or when you squeeze here, it opens up on the top. When you're going into Tiferes, when you apply balance, it opens up. Your das opens up, your neck opens up, and you're able to go into your crown. You're able to open the center line, and you become a koim shalayim, an aligned vessel. When you're not aligned with yourself, when you're not balanced with yourself, when this is not open, then this is also not open. This is closed. Everything is closed, and you're basically breathing recycling the same garbage over and over again, and there is no movement. You're basically in charan. You're in charanaf. You're in the anger. You're in the spin. You're in the whole matzav. So luz is we know that luz is the luz. We have the luz, which is a space where we know the story that people never died in that place because they didn't lie. And once there's a story that they came and somebody asked, where's your wife? And he didn't want to say she's in the shower because it wasn't sneeze. So he lied. He said something else, and somebody died over there. Right away they came knocking on his door. They're like, excuse me, Makarapo, what's going on over here? What did you cause? He says, I lied. So Luz it's a place within Rebbe Shimon Baruch Stern talks a lot about it in length with the different. He had a whole last year he was going on and on about it, different places in the body that it is, and every week he found out that there's another Luz lower and lower going all the way down to the bottom of the spine. So Luz is a place within that you enter when you are authentic with yourself. Then you're in the place that you're connected to the Eitz Chaim. And when we lie to ourselves, then we're entering in the place. Then there's death. We die. We get disconnected. It's a place of death. We're not. We'll go back to Charan. We'll go back to the spin. Everything I'm going to earn, I'm going to give you meiser. I mean, that whole thing, I have always like a question on it. Like he tells Hashem, like, look, if you're gonna send me atzlacha, then I'm going to be yours. I'll give you aset asrena. Okay, fine. We're all doing the same thing, right? Aren't we all saying like, look, if you're gonna take care of me, I'll give you. I'll give. Give me so I can give. So I don't know. Every year, this year I didn't process it yet. I don't know, but I'm just putting it out there. Let's see. Let's say, in other words, I mean, on a simple level, I can say that I'm going to understand that there is a deeper meaning in the work. There's in other words, it's not about me. There's a deeper purpose. There's a deeper meaning, and I'm not going to. I promise that if I go through my process, if I'm going to have success in my process, if you're going to open up the door for me, and I'm going to have deeper understandings and awakening in my consciousness, I'm not going to make it about me. I'm going to give you a 10%, which is 10 is everything really. You go from the kesser to it's all the midas. That's all you need. You go in and asar asren. So it's a nice deal, I think, for sure. So that's that with that. And then another piece here, that fascinating piece that Rav Nachman is saying, that Rav Nosson is saying, that the Nasor also from Nachman 30 Yid Gimel and it's Hilchos Shabbos and by Rav Nosson. He's talking about that the struggle that we're having on a daily basis with everything, and especially with Parnasa, is coming because we have Taivas Mammon. There is a Taiva, there is a temptation for money. And he says that if you get rid of the temptation of money, then you don't have any more hardship. Okay? So what does it mean? What does it mean? We have to live. So he explains that there is two ways to making money. There's two ways to go. There's shefa and there's making money. If I need money from a place of trauma because I have fear that I don't have enough. I have jealousy that I don't have. My friend has more than me. I have a trauma that I grew up without money. I have, and so on and so forth. Then you're entering into that space of that klippa, those two klippas, the klippa of Zahav and the other one, it's written in Lukut Maran, I don't have it in front of me. So you're basically, immediately, we're going into that place of desperation, and desperation is going into Sfeikis. I go into desperation, I go into the unknown. Sfeikis, when I'm unknown, I'm not in the certainty. And when I'm not in the certainty, I'm in the klippa, because the alignment is in certainty. I have to be certain with what's going on. So it's a fascinating, very powerful piece over here that he's revealing to us. He's like, look, go ahead and go do your due diligence and make abundance, but understand that you're doing it from a place of not because I'm afraid, and not because I have fear, not because I need more, but I understand that there's a higher purpose. I want to be in flow, because when I'm in flow, I'm in shefa, then I am connected. And when I'm connected, forget about giving back, but I'm connected, I can channel, I can be in the light instead of being in the dark. So, where are you at? What's in your wallet, as they used to say. So, with that, we're in Chodesh Kislev. It's opportune time to enter into the light, because we're in the dark. In Kislev, we're in the dark. We're right here in the winter. The door for Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot, so that light that's closed, and we're fully in. A month into going into the winter, going into the cold, the trees are dying down, everything is, we're going into hibernation. So basically, when your sheet in the back is like almost like black matter, then it's easy to rewrite your history. It's easy to rewrite your story, because it's a clean slate. It's a clean slate, and that's why we see that. And Kislev is the month of miracles, the month of all the different rabbin came out from different from the camps and all that, as well as Hanukkah is where we found this one jug of oil there was one kav that basically there was one connection, one string was still there, and from that string, from that one note, open up 7 notes, which is because the 8th note, it's really, the 8th note is everything. The 8th note is a Tava Shmini. The 8th note is the infinite. The 8th note is also Mashiach. It's the song. It has all the notes included in that. Is the 8th note. It's Bina. Shmana Yimei Bina, which is Bina, is level 50. Level 50 is where I'm not dealing with my spin. I'm not dealing with my dark, but rather I'm going into the light. I'm going into Cheres. I'm going into understanding to who I am, what the purpose. Aser Asrein. I'm going into the 10th. I'm going into the Nukud. I'm going into the point. So when I find the point, that is nitzchi. It's forever. It lives on forever, and that is the expansion. I don't need it to be good in 100 years from now. I want to be good now. That's all I need. I need one dot just now, and from that now, I need to expand. When I'm already worried about what's going to be tomorrow, I'm out of the now. So keep that in mind if you want to hold on to the flow. Have an awesome Shabbos. And what else? Yeah, that's it. It's Shabbos. Chaim Levrachim.